teammate used to say, walk into your trap, take over your trap, was the line he would say. And so that's kind of what it is. You go into someone else's stadium and you try to assert yourself. That's what everybody's trying to do when they go on the road. It's hard to do, but that's certainly the goal.
Look at Kirk Cousins. Quoting bankroll. I didn't think I'd see the day, Cam Newton.
Walk on your trap and take over your trap. Yeah. And everybody from Atlanta will appreciate that. You dig what I'm saying? I really know that Kirk Cousins has engulfed the culture in Atlanta. Being an Atlanta native, we didn't know how this Kirk Cole experience was going to be. Got a little spooked with the draft pick, but at the same time, I think two things that really impacted how people look at Kirk Cousins in Atlanta. Number one, winning in Philly. He walked in that trap, took over that trap. Winning on Thursday night, putting up 509, I believe, making sure nobody walks into his trap. Okay, I'm trying to stay corporate here. But if we want to go back to Atlanta, walk in your trap and take over your trap. Rest in peace to Bankroll Fresh. You dig what I'm saying? Kirko, keep it up. Even though I'm a little skeptical about what he will do this weekend versus the Seattle Seahawks because they are in desperation mode. They have lost 3 in a row. Hey, listen, we gotta win this game if I'm Geno Smith.
Go ahead, Snoop.
I love Kirk just because he knows how to engage. When you come to a town, you got to be a part of the town. You can't just be the quarterback. So I think Kirk probably be in Magic City or in Hot Wings and getting his whole hangout on and his bang out on. And that's what it got to be because you in a town where the town really about that.
Yeah.
The A is about that. They show up to the games deep. They performing at halftime. You got rappers all over the place. So you really got to know what you into. And I feel like he stepped in that thing and doing it like it's supposed to be done.
No doubt about it. I'm going to take a moment to give some love to Raheem Morris.
Yeah.
Wanted that opportunity. Obviously, first go round, he didn't have a quarterback. He's got a quarterback now, at least during the regular season.
Yeah,
we'll see what Kirk Cousins is doing in the playoffs. But during the regular season, we know that Kirk Cousins can ball. We know that he closes, comes back, wins games in the fourth quarter and what have you. Give him love where it's due. Drake London is no joke. Bijan Robinson is that dude. They got some weapons in Atlanta, make no mistake about it. But it is going to be interesting to see what they do against a desperate Seattle team this weekend. But it is the regular season. You're on your home turf, and you should be able to handle your business if you're Kirk Cousins, especially with him coming off the Achilles injury. For him to be out there performing the way that he's performing, major props to him.
That's my cousin Kirk.
It's your cousin Kirk. Someone else you got a close tie to is what we're going to talk about next. Let's go to Jordan Love, who's going to take on someone that you're very familiar with. That would be CJ Stroud. The Texans this weekend, a battle between two of the young, most exciting quarterbacks in the league. We also hear you have a connection, as I mentioned, with CJ Stroud, and I know you spoke about this on Inside the NFL. Let's take a listen to that.
We want to talk about one of those players, CJ Stroud. We're going to show you some video of him playing for you and talk about what he is now that he's one of the best quarterbacks in the entire NFL as a rookie. What was CJ like when he was playing for you?
Man, CJ has always been a stand-up kind of kid. He's always been a leader. He's always been underrated. I'll say that. I love the fact that he's always been the underdog that turned into the wonder dog. You know what I'm saying? Because he puts in that work ethic. He's a strong believer in God. He's got great parents. And he's just a great listener. Anytime you got a kid who wants to listen and wants to learn, you could definitely get the best out of him. So CJ is one of the kids that come out of the league that we're so proud of.
Well, he's certainly not an underdog anymore, CJ Stroud. I mean, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League. What's it like seeing him succeed at this kind of level?
This is beautiful for the other kids in my league to show that it takes a lot of mind power to be a quarterback from the neck up. So the information hotline is really, translating very well in the community as far as like how he receives information, how he translates that, how he gets out there and plays quarterback. He's got the mind of an IBM CEO. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're teaching now as far as like the thinking process of being a quarterback. Because there used to be a time where they said people of our color couldn't run that. We can't do what he doing. He doing it well from day one because he been A1 from day one. And he represent the league in a beautiful way because he keeps spirituality, he keeps the locker room in tune as far as being a leader and understanding who he is as a person. And that's a beautiful reflection of my football league, so he's a true honor. And then let me say this, Mixon and Dobbs on the Packers about the SYFL too, so it's going to be a beautiful game for me to watch to see these kids out there flourishing.
Go ahead. It's so much to say, but I'm going to start with this. He's kept the main thing the main thing. How many times have we heard of C.J. Stroud getting into anything off the field? How many times have we heard C.J. Stroud complain about this or do that. I think it's so important for kids to understand this. Me being very involved in the youth football space, the one thing that I've seen take a turn for the worse is kids' expectation and the entitlement. Don't nobody know you. Motherfucker tell me, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. But that's how emotional it is. You tell me to Google him. I said, what? You are 12 years old. Don't nobody know you. You see what I'm saying? The entitlement from the parents thinking that, oh, my son, the NIL. Bro, NIL is only, and this is the word and the verb and to all high school and college players.
Teach.
All NIL is to make sure that your college experience is comfortable. This ain't life-changing money. This way more than we had. So if you're getting $1 million, if you're getting 100,000, I don't care what you get. It's more than what the forefathers who came before you got.
Yes.
This ain't no money that's you're gonna be looking at 35, 40. So let's stop with that. I just look at a guy like CJ Stroud, and I'm so proud amongst other players that have been playing this game at a high level for so long and has not been deterred by off the field antics. And that's the thing that I look at CJ.
No disagreement at all with what either of you said. I love CJ Stroud. I think he's a stud. I think he's in the discussion as being a top 5 quarterback in the National Football League. They're 5-1 right now, en route to their first 4-game winning streak since 2018. I'm going to give love to D'Amico Ryans, a brother, coaching him, because what I want to do is use that as an opportunity to highlight something. You see, a lot of times, and I've often said this, I've said this on national television, I've said it many, many times. White folks come to work with a job to do every day. Black folks come with a responsibility. Miko Ryans being the head coach in the National Football League, they're going to hold him accountable as to whether or not he's a leader amongst men. We're listening to stuff coming out and emanating out of Dallas. Ain't nobody bringing up Mike McCarthy when it comes to leadership. Had that been going on in Houston, Miko Ryans would be in trouble. Had that been going on in Atlanta, Raheem Morris would be in trouble. Had that going on in Pittsburgh, you talk about a guy, Mike Tomlin, he never had a losing record. 17 years. He was on the hot seat. People talking about him losing his job a couple of years ago. Why? Because there was some friction going on in Pittsburgh, and they were going to hold him accountable. See, the responsibility they throw on the shoulders of black men is a little bit different. And when CJ goes out there and he performs and he's deferring to the leadership role from the leader, and the leader looks like him, and relates to him, and comes from a similar, identical background, all of a sudden that plays a role. So all of these things come into play. But to go to your point, because your point was very important, I'm so glad you brought this up. When the kids, you talk about entitlement, they talk about Google me, Google me, Google me. You act like you arrived. You haven't. You act like you've done something. You haven't. You want to look at cats who actually did something and literally look at them and say, you ain't doing enough. One of the stupidest things, and I've said this on many occasions when I've given a speech, one of the stupidest things somebody can come up to me and say is, I'm going to take your job. You know why? Because you've automatically alienated yourself from somebody who could help you. Because you said, I don't want to do what you're doing. I want to take what you got. Who wants to embrace that? But you got youth today who do that. Not all, not most, but far too many. So when you break down what you break down, what you break down, what you brought down, what you broke down, it's important for people to marinate in that, gravitate towards it. Because guess what? You know what the key to our success is more than anything else? Damn it, we respect our elders.
Yes, sir.
Even when we disagreed with them,
Yeah.
we say, none but respect for you.
Yes, sir.
If you don't respect elders and pioneers who paved the way,
Yes, sir.
you ain't going to respect no damn body.
I'll say this about CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans. So much success last year. None of us saw it coming, and they did not act like they've arrived. Because there have been a lot of teams that had been in those situations that would act that way, and they've stayed humbled about it. And Stephen A. brought this up. Maybe CJ Stroud is a top 5 quarterback in the league. How many, Snoop, how many quarterbacks would you put above CJ Stroud right now?
Probably 4.